All right, good morning. Happy Friday out there. It is our final day of the free week, the RLT open house. Hope you all have been enjoying it. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Too many names in the chat. Sorry, can't read every single one of them. Good morning, but good morning, everyone. Lots going on out there in the world of the stock market. Earnings season is just starting to starting to heat up. So last night you had a bunch. We got some more today, and then obviously next week is the big week. Yeah, work has disappeared from the charts because it got bought by CRM. They finally completed that. So that merger is complete. It's probably why CRM's like, okay, they finally got it done. The work shareholders get given CRM. I think it was a mix of stock and shares. Yes, I think. I don't remember exactly. And if you go to the CRM option chain, that you're gonna see a bunch of different like strikes or expirations. Because like the work options will go over there. But yeah, the market rampaging once again overnight. It's topping out a little bit. I actually am looking more to short today than go long. Just like overall, because it's bounce off the 50 and then 1, 2, 3. That would be 4 days up in a row. The Q's gapping into pretty much an all-time high. Um, 4 bullish days in a row, bullish candles in a row. So yeah, I'm more looking to short today than long on most things. Social media stocks, yeah, and everyone's requesting Snapchat. I know Dan Jansen is making money on this. He's been telling us to get in Snap. I mean, since what? Snap was like $20. I think this is one of his biggest holdings. 13. Yeah. So huge gap on Snapchat and Twitter. Crushed earnings. Snap is gapping into an all-time high. So I again would be looking for like some type of blow off top on this one. Twitter, I think, is a little bit more likely. It is gapping into resistance. However, since it's not into an all time high, the gap's a little bit smaller. I'd more likely go long on this one than Snapchat. So, in turn, yes, Pins is getting a sympathy gap up. It's gapping right into resistance. I do have some pins. I'll probably buy to close this put sale today. See what it's worth. Um, and then potentially depending on what folks want to do, I could see someone selling a call way up here if there's money over earnings. Intel is a pretty nice bearish gap down. There is some support here, but it might have a little room to go. And then the story of the day is more Chinese scam companies. EDU, I mean, it's been on an absolute ski slope to zero, and it's down 65% this morning. Um, it's not GSX anymore. Go to, I mean, literally, Hong Lu told us this was a scam last year somewhere where I think Muddy Waters report was like over here somewhere. Oh, wait, last year. I think it was this one, this gap down. They even had to change their ticker to try and throw people off the tracks. That thing's gapping down 62%. And then Tal is gapping down 59%. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's the people of China, it's the Chinese government is corrupt and super shady. So, giant middle finger to the Western investors. So, my opinion, don't touch any of these things. Of course, DD was a giant scam. The company's probably real, but it's like you're telling me that this thing IPOs and within 3 days they're like, oh, by the way, we're gonna remove it from the App Store. Now the government wants to delist it from the stock exchange. Yeah, if you've been shorting these things, congratulations. I would not touch any of these. None of them. Why wouldn't they list on the Hang Seng or Hong Kong right after they bought puts? You never know, Jay. That's never know. So I'm not touching any of these. The only company that I would touch is Baba, and I'm even questioning: do I just close this put sale now and just move on because it is up a little bit? I wouldn't touch JD either unless it's with absolute zero options. Nope, definitely wouldn't touch Neo. And then Tencent, normally I would say, but you can't hedge on Tencent with options because there's no options and it's a over the counter stock. So that's my like spiel on the Chinese names. Um, yeah, Dan's getting some stuff in there about in the chat pane about them. I'm not gonna trade any of them today, so yeah. Um, because you're not gonna short it. It's already down 60%, and there's no way that I'm actually buying it. So yeah, I'll move on from those. But since people were bringing them up, all right, let's see. What were some others? TTD. Let's take a look. Yeah, TTD is a nice gap. It is a gap and go, but it is gapping into some resistance. Let's see the pre-market. There's a good amount of pre-market. Usually this one doesn't have very much. It's like pretty sparse volume. It's a lot more tradable than it used to be when it was like $500 a share because the spread was like a mile wide. So we can throw that one on the list. Facebook is gapping into an all-time high. On a retest gap, I would look to fade it. Oops, what did I just do? Auto. Yeah, I would look to fade it. Looks like it's already starting to fade a little bit. Spotify. No gap on Spotify. There's just one print there, so no idea where that's going to actually open. Talos Corporation. Not really gapping. There's only one print down there. If it only has like 100 shares pre-market, at the gap really you don't know where it's really going to gap, so I usually don't put those on my list. American Express gapping into an all-time high. Pretty big gap for American Express. This one is also on earnings, right? We can watch it, but I think it probably fades. Yeah, Visa, a little, maybe a little bit of a sympathy gap. Not much pre-market. MasterCard. But again, these are into some resistance. NVDA. Yeah, not much of a gap. It's not clearing any pivots inside day. I'm not looking at any more Chinese names today. They're all gapping down. I'm not going to buy any of them. And most of them are gapping down too long to short or too far to short. CCIV. It is a gap and go. I would like it a lot better if it was gapping above 25. It might here. We'll see because it's starting to move right now. I'll throw it on there. Sam, yeah, Sam's getting absolutely wrecked. Down $200 a share. This is just it's not great to day trade. It's kind of the problem. If you wanted to buy shares longer term, I mean, I get it. It's a big gap down, but dang, I mean, there's nothing here. Like the only thing holding this up is like this little toothpick of a day over here from July of last year. Earnings were awful. So, yeah. This one is it's looking rough. Okay, you do have the weekly 100. So, I guess that would be your line where you're like, okay, Maybe I'll try it right there. Personally, I don't think this one's even day tradable though, like the way the volume is and the spread. Like look at these gaps. Like what are you gonna do? This thing gapped $3 intraday yesterday. So longer term, if you're like nibbling, maybe you like twisted tea or something, and you're like, hey, let me be an owner, not just a consumer, and you want to buy a couple shares. I get it, but just be careful because other than that 100 on the weekly, there's nothing holding this thing up until 585. Let's see. Next era energy. Someone was asking about knee. Small gap down. It is a gap and go, but again, we're into a lot of support, and you got the 100 right here. Pretty sparse on the volume pre-market, even with earnings. That's kind of interesting. These are like 100, 350 shares. So nothing too exciting there because it's right into support. Ocular Therapeutics. It's kind of a cute gap up. It's gapping right into the primary resistance that it's just been selling off of nonstop, which is the 20. So yeah, I don't think there's really anything exciting on that one. NCLH, Norwegian. You had this cute inside day yesterday. Let's see. They all pretty much look the same. I'll throw one of those on the list so we can kind of look at it. Car Gurus, right at resistance, not clearing a pivot. Literally 100 share print. QuantumScape. I mean, this might as well be a Chinese scam company. And they're not. I don't think they're producing a product for like 2000 until 2025. So they're gonna need a quantum leap of time to go by before this thing does anything. I don't even know why they're having earnings. They don't even have a product to sell. So that would be a no for me. I would only look short. CVS. They need Scott Bakula. Exactly. That's what I would do if I was that company. I would immediately procure Scott Bakula as my pitch man. CVS is kind of a neat gap. Where's the okay? Long terms are all below. Dang it, the pre-market's so light. What about Walgreens? Walgreens, they've been getting a lot of business from myself and Jeremy with getting COVID tested so many dang times in the last month. Although I guess we haven't really been paying for them; they're free. But CVS actually does look pretty decent. It depends on where it opens. I'll throw it on there. TRMR. Tremor International. It's an ADR. Is this a Chinese stock? No? Okay. Um, and I don't really see much from the gap today. I don't know. Yeah, this is definitely don't day trade this. Look at the volume is horrible. Untradable intraday. Swing trading, I'd probably try to like buy a dip off of 2024, 2025, maybe 2050. But yeah, swing tradable intraday, no way. The volume is way too bad. Apps. Let's see, look at apps. I know this is right at the 200. Yeah, it's right at the 200. If it was gapping above 65 or like 66.10 or something like that, it would be better. Right now, there's no real gap on it. I already looked at Car Gurus. There's nothing exciting on it. It had like one print. Pins is gapping up in sympathy with the others. It's a retest gap. It might have some continuation. before earnings, but I'm gonna look to close this put sale, and then if it does trade higher, I'm just gonna look to sell a call on it. I don't think I'm gonna look to day trade it. Skechers, Skechers and Crocs, man, these are the most popular shoes apparently. I mean, Nike seems to be doing well too, so I guess everyone's buying shoes. Skechers, this it's a big gap. It's into an all-time high. It's a retest gap, so I want to say fade it, but it's kind of already faded. So there's probably not very much room to risk reward to fade it. So yeah, I guess it's gonna go on the list. Let's see. Goldman. How are some of the banks looking? That's nice. It's a nice gap ups into some resistance. JP Morgan, Morgan, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Hells Fargo. Yeah, GS I guess is like the better of them. But again, so many bullish days. I don't want to try to get too excited and buy all these bullish retest gaps. UNH is not gapping. I do like this pennant pattern though. Probably a swing trade. If you want to set up a swing trade to break out there with a stop down here, I could see that. It's already had earnings, so you don't really have to worry about that. Nothing on the day trade. No gap. RBLX looks pretty decent. I know we're already in. I'm in multiple accounts. I know there's a swing trade open officially based on this pennant that triggered yesterday on that breakout. Looks good. So I don't think I'm going to day trade it since I literally own it in multiple accounts. But it looks pretty nice. If SPY pops on the open, would I buy a 437.50 or 438? Probably the 430s, probably the 438. I would see if I could get it into a rip into 438 if you really wanted to. Yeah, I think these are I think Snap is definitely a fade. Twitter is more likely to go bullish, I think, because it's not as big of a gap. Let me go back through. I know I probably missed some, and if so, I apologize. There's 130 of us in the chat. MDC not gapping at all, so yeah, nothing going on with this one. I do like the little 2-day pennant pattern. If it puts in a third inside day, that could be cool. Etsy. I mean, Etsy's a nice little retest gap. Again, the problem for me is just 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna go bullish on the 5th day. I don't know. Microsoft retest gap into all-time highs. This market. The other big ones. Oh my gosh, look at Google. Amazon. I mean, I'm not buying it today. We got an open retest gap here, 3 bullish days in a row, and we're doing another bullish retest gap into all-time highs. I'm not buying it today. Home Depot, I mean, don't really know where it's probably going to go up because like that's what Home Depot does, but can't really tell. Yeah, I agree, Yates. I'm more looking to short something, to fade one of these all-time high gaps. ALZN. Alza Men's Neuro. Looks like a giant dumpster fire. You might be able to take it into like $9, maybe. But I don't play these type of things. Like if you look at a chart and it's doing this, like the chance that Robert's gonna trade it is pretty. Like I would just, if I own this thing and it was gapping up, I would sell it, running into all this resistance. Who knows what the hell this thing does? But I don't really trade stuff that looks like this. It's already, yeah, it's already faded pre-market, so it's gonna be a no for me. So let's go back through here. So AMD, I like this gap on AMD, but dang, it's already 4 bullish days in a row. So that has to go. That has to go down. Tesla. I mean, the biggest squeeze Tesla's been in for a long time. Look how close long-term moving averages are. So nothing that's going to happen with that, I don't think. Square. Yep, not going to do anything with that. Massive run that thing's been on. Intel could be shortable. Snapchat definitely looks like a fade. Twitter potentially long. TTD, nothing super cool. AXP, maybe. CCIV, maybe. Oh, the 200's right above that. I was going to move that one down. CVS, maybe. Skechers. All people are going to wear Skechers and Crocs. Yeah, I haven't looked at FUV. Sorry. It's not even gapping. So it's literally just right where it was yesterday. RBLX, I already looked at. It looks nice. We're in. I'm in. Everyone's in. So this is where we wait for it to go higher, and then we start to trim some, probably up into this 86 area. Tesla strangle. I mean, you can. When is the earnings date? Is it Monday afternoon? I'd probably wait until Monday, or like before close. It's still gonna be relatively expensive. All right. So SPY again, gapping up into an all-time high. Could there still be a little bit of a bullish move? Yes. But I'm gonna be looking more short than long. Same with the Qs. IWM could go a little bit bullish. We'll look for a blow off top potentially in Snapchat. Twitter, I think, could be long. AXP, I do think it could run a little bit. Intel, I'd like to see it pop up into 55 and then roll over. ETD, we'll see what happens with all of these. Adriano, my man. Oh, it's got 1,000 shares. Okay. I'm like, bro, it's got one print. Yeah, Lennar, I mean, it looks okay. It's just again 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish days in a row and a fifth bullish retest gap. It's hard for me to try to take that bullish. X is not clearing a pivot, so I don't think X is going to give it to us today. NRXP. What do you think I'm going to say on this one? That's a negative, Ghost Rider. Ski slope to 0. What was MGNI? They're just I don't really see a point in trading those things. Like I don't know any professional traders that make a living from trading stuff like that. That's all. Magnite, it's not to like offend anyone or anything. Magnite, this could be Could be a decent gap. It is a gap and go. The 50s right here, which it's probably going to run into strong resistance, so it doesn't have very far to go is the problem. I'll throw it on there. It'll probably end up getting deleted pretty quick. On Intel, I actually want to see Intel trade higher and then potentially for a rollover. Especially that this thing went green on the pop initially to red. Like all the news headline algos and everything that bought this like immediately got wrecked. Anyone who tried to follow them. So usually if it goes green to red, that's a good sign for potential short. And I think CVS is going to end up getting deleted pretty quick, but we'll see. We have a pretty deep list. I'd want to see it go through 55 and then see how it responds. Yeah, Starbucks. I mean, they're not even the pumpkin latte season yet. I think Elon was drinking a Starbucks during the Bitcoin conference. So everyone started buying it. All right, pen, and then I can't look at it anymore because only have a couple minutes. Yeah, pen kind of looks similar to the other reopen plays like NCLH, RCL. I bet the airlines look similar. Yeah, so they're probably all going to do the same thing. DraftKings again, 4 bullish days in a row, small gap up, probably going to hit its head on the 50 and sell off like it did the other times. I think it hits the 50 and then just sells into the retest. All right, let's see. GoCo, I already know I'm not going to trade that one. Yep, I'm already familiar with that ticker that it doesn't have enough volume. Oh, interesting. AMD with some selling right there before the open. All right, we have, let me make sure that my broker is open. See, I already got Twitter over there because I was watching it last night. I already got Snapchat. I got Intel. And let's see, AXP I can throw on there. All right, well, kind of go from there. Yeah, Apple's not clearing a pivot. Looks like an inside day gap. So we will see what happens. I expect that there could be a little bit of a push out the gate, but again, I'm looking to go more short than long because we're into all-time highs. It's Friday. If you bought on Monday, this is why I'm looking to go short. If you bought on Monday down here and we're back at an all-time high on Friday, what are you likely to do? And we have a pretty sizable retest gap. The traders are going to look to take some gains into the weekend, not buy more. AXP is probably going to end up getting deleted. So Intel couldn't even make it back to 55. Full surge on TTD. We're not even going to get a little bit of buying. Still early. Market's only been open a few seconds, but looks like a potential gap and crap. I almost want to just throw a short at like 75. Snapchat. There's the open. So it kind of stalled a little bit. Okay, let's wait on that. Shorted AMD straight from the get go. There you go. Yeah, I usually wait for candles to form, but I'm congratulations if you just shorted that out the gate, Ron. I'd probably be covering into this pre-market pivot point right there. And congrats. Twitter. Ugh, Root Magoot. Man, seriously, Intel? Intel's such a dog. Can't even get a little bit of buying. Yeah, AMD just, I mean, just puked right here. So just based off of like all this, I covered like right there, and you have these highs. Especially if I just blasted a short at the open. Like if you didn't even wait for a candle to form and you get a candle like this, I mean, I would just take it. And then I'd be done for the day. I'd have like a 2 minute trading day and then I'd be like, peace. Starting the weekend early. When's the full moon, Rob? Yeah, a lot of these just didn't wait. Well, sometimes it'll look full, but it's not actually the full moon yet. So Snapchat did get some good buying here. Again, need to wait for a little bit of a signal because it is an all-time high. There's nothing to short off of. Oh man, Intel. It's breaking this pivot too. Might need some Tom Petty for Intel pretty soon because this thing is free falling. Let me go look at CVS real quick. Where's the 50? Okay, the 50 is below. What's with the this candle has super light volume. If this can close as an inside candle, then maybe we could look at taking a breakout. But again, I would prefer to go short today. But I wanted some initial buying on the overall market, and we just got initial selling. I'm gonna move CVS up a little bit. What was the news on pins? There wasn't any. It's just a sympathy play with Snapchat and Twitter. Since they did well, the uh, the market thinks pins is gonna have a good earnings report, so they're buying it up in anticipation. Am I looking to short SPY? I'm more looking to go short than long. I just wanted to see a little bit of buying. Yeah, I think pins fades. Yep. TTD a little too bullish for me. A little too big of a gap into some resistance now. Sam fade? Nope, not trading that one. There is a weekly 100 down there, but shoot, come on. There's a weekly 100 down there, but the volume and the spread, etc., is absolutely horrible. I actually like this little selling candle here on CVS. It's a high here, 8309, 8309. If I do 71, that's only 40 cents on an $80 stock. It's pretty tight. But I think we could trade up into here. It kind of looks like a double bottom with a nice little neckline retest. Check the 5 minute. The volume's still pretty light. I'm going to steer clear of this one because the volume's not all that great. I think it's going to be a trap. AMD, I mean, if you want to short it now, you can. It's just with this big, huge push lower, like you're going to need to take a look at, again, your RSI. It's like starting to come back up. But that's a pretty big selling candle out the gate. So just be careful how low you're shorting it or expect it to go, how fast. Like the whole candle today could look like that. Where was the 50 on this? 32.50 was it? 32.49. $67 by 07 is 60 cents. $75 by 05 is probably better. And that's just basically playing this 5 minute candle. How's the spread on? The spread is 6 cents. And I barely get, yeah, like I get 1-to-1 basically to the 50. Tesla, you shorted last week at 690. Should you cover before earnings? That's what I would do. Yeah, I wish that this was a little bit further. If this was like up here and I could get like 1.2, but this is literally just 1-to-1. It looks good. I like this compression right here. I like the 5 minute high wave bear candle. It's just the risk reward is not great. It's only 1-to-1, so yeah, Johnny's taking Ally. I've traded Ally I don't think this one trades all that well. The volume is, I think, pretty terrible on this one too. And Intel, dang, it's just really too bad there wasn't a little bit of buying. I mean, there hasn't been one minute buying candle on Intel. Wow. Not even 1 minute did they try to buy that thing. I like that Twitter literally filled the entire gap. TTD hasn't had a retest yet. That one's getting deleted. So this is probably a little bit better area if you're looking to short AMD back up into here. But again, I'm not sure like how fast is this one really going to drop again because it already dropped like a full dollar out the gate. So if you like this one, I mean, that's cool. You can take it. The setup looks good. Just the risk reward is literally like 1 to 1. That good. Thoughts on CCIV? It doesn't look like it's going to hold. I like this pennant pattern, but it's holding below VWAP. If this was holding above VWAP, I'd be looking at a setup like right above here, but then holding below VWAP. Yates, what was that covered call? You did $100 covered call over for August. Okay, so it's not like it was just like a week over earnings. Man, what in the heck is going on with the Thinkorswim mobile app? It like organized my positions completely different. I was trying to check them real quick, and they are all jacked up. Roku wins earnings. Yeah, I would see if Roku can trade a little bit higher before I threw a collar on it. Yeah, you have next week too, so yeah, I'd wait a little bit longer on Roku. I mean, I definitely see why you're wanting to do it. So if you're in this, this breakout looks good. It's got volume, etc. You're gonna want to exit right into here. The only reason I didn't take this because it's only 1 to 1. Trying to find a blow off top on Snapchat to short. You're in a collar on Amazon. Okay. I don't know, Ron. If Amazon gaps up, I think it could run. I mean, you're going to be profitable because that would obviously be an all-time high. But yeah, I think Amazon could head to 4,000. It's breaking out of that long-term channel distribution phase. Skechers looks kind of nice. Dang, it's up there. Actually looks nice, bullish. Yeah, I bought Amazon. Well, I already had a position, but I bought more here and I bought more here. But I don't have enough Amazon to do a collar on it. I would have to collar it with like XLY, basically. Like a pseudo hedge. Yeah, this was a nice setup. It's just too bad. Like if I could have had my stop up here, like 25, and like that would have been one and a half to the 50. But if anyone took this, it looks really nice. IWM looks a little weak. Intel finally getting a bullish candle. So at this point, if you do want to short Intel, maybe you could short it up here. I don't think it gets there though. The way it's throwing in this upper wick. That TTD just no retest, huh? Yeah, AMD. I think that's probably most of the selling because that was. I mean, it went from 91.76 to 90.20 or so. It's like $1.50. What is the goal of a collar? Yeah, to lock in gains. There you go. You're probably out right there on Magnite, right at the 50. The reason I think the 50 is a good spot to sell is because it's been a pretty solid resistance on it before. Here, all of this probably does it again. All right, so here's the push on SPY higher, and then the potential rollover instead of the selling out the gate. More so what I was looking for. Dang, no signal on Snapchat. Again, I think Twitter could be a little more of a long. I just need it to get back above the volume weighted average price. So I want it to close above the volume weighted average price and then retest. I'm just gonna throw some lines on here. This is not official yet. Uh, Intel looks so bad. Cassie got the MG&I trade. Very nice. Yeah, it was a really good looking setup. That was the only problem was the risk reward for me is like setting up a bunch of one-to-ones generally not a great plan. But yeah, it's a gap and go. It was yeah, so it was a bearish candle yesterday, gapping up. You had a bearish candle, and then you had three candle pennant pattern. You had this nice little squeeze right here. So if we break back through, this is the perfect. This is exactly what you want a breakout to look like. You want to break out to hold number one, so close back above here. It didn't like throw in a big upper wick, and it had volume. Sorry, the volume's right here. This candle had volume too, but this breakout candle was much higher than those volumes. So yeah, that's a really nice setup. Roku's tough to short. Roku is tough to short. I'd probably try to see if it'll go a little higher. It's only up 4.5%. Yeah, Roku can definitely run though. I've lost a few R trying to aggressively short Roku. So I would wait for a signal first before I 65. The tweezer tops didn't go a little higher. Wow, IWM. Fair S curve. Snapchat. Unfortunately, we did not get a volume signal there on the reversal. Twitter might be coming in to form a double bottom. It's going to take a little bit of time to form. Skechers is just really high. Same with American Express. Intel, it just had no buying. I mean, not even like right there. Out the gate. TTD. If you were playing a 1 minute, you might have been able to get that. CCIV. So this is a good example of the pennant pattern that breaks the other way. But this one was leaning bearish versus MG&I leaning bullish because this is not holding VWAP versus like MG&I. See how it's holding above VWAP. So that's just based on my experience. Is that this pennant pattern that holds above VWAP is more likely to break higher versus like this pennant pattern that's holding below the VWAP is more likely to break lower. Yates, Yates didn't get to finish because he got thrown up on. Man, IWM, what in the world? Okay, so Twitter, it might be forming a double bottom. Let's wait and see. I'm just trying to be patient before I go long anything. This one, you can see why this was the exact target. I traded right to it. It looked like selling. What's that, 50 on the daily? Tesla's just kind of hanging out. Square, a little bit of follow through, but this thing is up there. That's a little bit of a signal. What's the other one that merged today? Matterport, right? Oh, buy the rumor, sell the news. Weird. What did NVDA do? Traded down. So if IWM is a leading indicator, it's looking a little rough. I don't want to try to short a breakdown on SPY. Right now, it just looks like a little bit of chop. At Twitter, we'll see. Again, this is not official. Let me just do this. That way there's not a... I'm just kind of getting some lines ready in case we do form a double bottom. Like I would like to see us do this. Trade back, close above the VWAP, take a little bit of a pullback, and then have it go higher. Because again, this one just didn't gap as much. So I think there's a little bit more room versus, Snapchat is like it's up 21%. Now, if this goes sideways here and we can get a little bit of like a cliff point and some buying, and then take a potential breakdown, I think that could work. I always want to be cautious. Where's that 10 on the 15? Okay, it's still got plenty of room. Is this a bear S curve on the Qs? This push higher is a little bit high for a bear S curve. Someone was asking about fibs earlier. It's bad timing for me to try to answer it. But you come over here, fib retracement. It's like usually for an S curve, I don't want to see it retrace too far back through this like 618 or like 50% for this to be really. Should only go like that. That's a little bit high of a retrace if it's going to roll over. Doesn't mean that it can't. Just a little bit far of a retrace. That that exit would have been perfect. We would have got like nothing more. So I'd like to see some buying come in here. Buy back your pins, $60 put. Yeah, mine wasn't really that. I'm only at 50%. Maybe you got a better price on yours. So I'm just gonna leave it because I mean it's $15 away. Granted, it is over earnings, but still. Okay, so we'll see what Twitter does. Snapchat. We'll see if we get a little bit of a cliff point there. Skechers. I like the pennant pattern. If this thing wasn't into all-time highs, I'd probably look to take Skechers long and have this huge retest gap. I guess this was the spot, the short spot. I thought we'd get a little bit of buying, and then we could end up shorting it. Didn't really do that. Throw in like a big upper wick, like right here. Let me just double check that Snapchat is shortable. Oh yeah. What in the world I wanted to do? So we still got a little bit of time on this candle to close. Yeah, what I'd like to see is a nice upper wick on this candle. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but this is $2 worth of risk. All right, so that's going to be official. Snap 76.13 by 78.13. $76.13. Stop limit, $2 stop. All right. I'd like the. Actually, could adjust the stop now, but I'm just gonna leave it. This thing again, it's up 20% into an all-time high. I think the market needs to fade a little bit. And it's the exact, pretty much the exact thing I did on Crocs yesterday. And it kind of worked. I shorted Crocs like right here. Covered partial here, and then got trailed out right there. Okay, so is Twitter going to close above VWAP? It did. There's 95 on this. I'm going to wait just a second. I'm going to wait for this candle to close. I actually think I can get it a little bit lower. 85 by 85. Is that $1, right? Yeah. Twitter. 70.85 by 69.85. $70.85. Stop. All right, we'll see if we can get that one. Snapchat, we're probably going to need to cancel. Cancel Snap. Good, no trade. So that's trading back up through the stop. So that support level held. We were going to take a breakdown of it. I still think Snap could fade. We just might have to wait on the setup. And we'll see if we get a retest of the volume weighted average price there on the Twitter machine. Or it'll rip without us. We'll see. Hold on one second. Someone's got like a weed eater going early in the morning, so I'm gonna shut my window. All right, boom, we're filled. No, I had to step away for a second there, Dave. Okay. So filled on Twitter. look for a partial. And do 25%. There. And then the rest there. Filled on Twitter targets for now. All right, so we'll see. That's not great though, for it to take out the volume weighted average price that aggressively. And this 5-minute candle still holding, and you got some good support right in here. And we got a nice hammer. I don't think I should have grabbed it off that hammer. I think that's a little low. So we'll see. Got our stop in, so that's all we can do there. Snapchat. I'm still down to try to short this if it does something interesting. Use. Yeah, traded to that all-time high and is a little bit of resistance. Not really a trap yet. Didn't go through it. Skechers. That looks good. Yeah, I usually think of a trap as like pushing through it. Like if it went to 51 or something. CCIV, Square, AMD, Tesla. Interesting. Lower wick there. Oh man. How how good how good of an exit was that? Cassie, our hero, sold it almost the exact high. That's just like if you were taking this trade and it was 1-to-1, it's just you're playing levels versus like, well, I have to hold from for 2R. Like stuff isn't always going to go to 2R. It's not always going to go to 1.5, like etc. Playing levels has made me more profitable than trying to like otherwise just either don't take the setup or adjust it to where it's like maybe like if you were trying to be super aggressive, you could do that and then you're getting better risk reward into your target area. Cassie, are you the Cassie from the Abundance group? Yes, awesome. Congrats. Is that your first day trade? First smooth executed one? There you go. Feels good, huh? Clicking buttons, making money. You're on all panelists and attendees, by the way. If you want to, or you're on all panelists if you want to switch to all panelists and attendees. That way people don't think I'm talking to myself. Yeah, I'll look at a potential bull put spread setup. Yep. Yeah, we're below POC there. That's not great. It's not great. I think we're gonna get stopped out on that one. We'll see. Maybe Harry Potter can come wizard it away from our stop. Skechers, that actually looked pretty good. It's just so high up there. Yeah, I know, Yates. I don't want anyone to think I'm just making up conversation to keep it interesting. Should we buy Twitter at the stop? You could. You could. I mean, at that point though, it's like, it's already retested like this candle. It's a retest gap. We waited for it to retest like this candle, this candle. So it really, if it is going to be bullish, like it needs to be in here because this is the double bottom, right? Like this is a textbook double bottom, and it's again just even though it's textbook, doesn't mean it always works. Retest the neckline. So that's why we're doing a limit buy there for it to potentially do that. If it does this, then the double bottom didn't work. So I don't know that I would want to try to buy right there. Like this is usually what you want to see, and with a double bottom, and then like a nice little bullish candle. But you never know. Sometimes they go a little bit deeper, and then it could come out of there. But it did exactly what I said I wanted it to do, so that's why I took the trade. Closed back above VWAP, retested, formed a double bottom. It's a better setup on this one. It was probably this. Trying to short like a double top. Probably something like that was better. It just might not happen until later. Their S curve on the SPY? Not really, no. No. Kind of chopping around. Ride's probably headed towards zero. Yeah. I think the DOJ is like investigating this one too, right? The only way I would play something like this is with absolute zero. So whatever you put in it, just expect to lose all of it. So if you buy it at 777 and I'm like, hey, I want to risk $1,000. You go $1,000 divided by 7.77. I'm gonna buy 128 shares, and if it goes to zero, that's all I can lose. Because that looks like where it's going. You're in short on the Qs. I would target. I would have a partial like here somewhere, 364, 62, 60, something like that. And then probably like a new low, just because we've already bounced there. Chewy. I wish I could do the Chewbacca noise. On demand. 74.70 for August week 4. 74. I mean, you're below this candle. I don't mind the position of that spread, but this is the wrong day to sell it. Like you don't want to sell a spread in like 5 bullish candles in a row. But I get why you have the location there. I would see if it can do this, if it can trade back down into here, and then see if you could sell like a 70.66 or something, though. Because if it trades down, then there might end up being premium. Because right now, like the premium, you're having to go up here because the stock's been pretty bullish and is all the way up there. Activision has a lawsuit about like video game violence or something. Activision, here's the problem with Activision is this island reversal that never failed or never filled right here, still hasn't filled. All of this that's just not great. I like Activision long term. I have a small position on Activision, but like this island reversal right here and this fail was a big signal. I exited all my Activision there, and I've started to accumulate some more throughout here. But I'd like us to trade back down into this area into like 88 before I pick up some more shares. But I get it. You got the 200 here, so this worries me, and it's an island reversal at an all-time high, right? That was an all-time high, pretty sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't love that. All right, we're gonna try and save ourselves a couple pennies if we get stopped out. So stop move on Twitter to 69.97. We do have a little pivot point there. Where's that view at? I'm almost debating like taking a partial right here right now since we haven't been able to really move our stop. Kind of like we did on AMD. On AMD, it ended up proving not to be like the greatest spot for that, but this was an immediate trap. Let's see if it fails right here. If it fails right here and we go back to positive, and I'll do that. Still want to leave this up here just in case. Yeah. Since Twitter is failing VWAP pretty easily, next time it flashes into positive, take off 25%. So there's nowhere else to move the stop. Like we got our stop trailed up like not very much, 12 cents. But if it flashes back up into here, since I already failed this area, I want to trim this off. It's kind of like trailing a stop. Skechers was nice. It's just so dang high on the daily. AXP, I'm glad we didn't go long. Intel didn't really give us a chance to short. TTD, if you're looking aggressive, bull, I think you're probably playing it something like this at this point. If you want to be super aggro, CCIV rolled over. That was literally like the best possible play on that thing. Microsoft, yeah, congratulations. Hopefully you bought it down here on this retest. Facebook, oh wow. Facebook, huge retest gap. I guess it retested a little bit, but Did you take it like this, Eric? If you didn't take this breakout, then you got in on this retest, I'm guessing. So that was your entry. A stop. 361. So you're back above like this candle. Stop basically at the low there. Yeah, I think you chased it a little bit. That obvious. I mean, it's a little bit of hindsight, but either this breakout or this retest would have been a little bit better of an entry. Yeah. Um, if you took that, then I think what you probably needed to do is have your stop like up here, just for a little bit better risk reward. AMD short. I see what you see. I see what you're looking at. I just don't know like how much is AMD really gonna sell off now today. That's almost $1. You got to go down $1 more. I mean, it could happen, but I don't know. I just don't really love the risk reward on it. I think there's going to be buyers again down at 90 and the low of the day. Like, look at how nicely it bounced off of this. So I just, is there room to capture right here? Yeah, for sure. All in this area. I just don't know how great the risk reward is going to be, is all. Yeah, if the market flushes, it hasn't really done what I thought it was going to do. I thought we were going to get some buying and then a rollover. We got some initial selling, so I think you could take the same setup just with Snapchat, and it has more room. Although this is kind of wide. I would like a buying candle in here. The only problem is the 10 on the 5 without extended starting to come up. Where's the 15? Definitely still have room for that. I want to get right there, actually. Probably need to do something like that. Pretty aggressive, just the way that this has been trading. Come on, Twitter. Um, or is what just bullish? Snapchat? Well, I mean, it is bullish. It's up. It's like it get triggered there, maybe like this. I like some buying to come in so that if it takes it out, there's a few more people trapped. I mean, it's up 20%. So at a certain point, there's going to be profit taking. But it could go like Crocs. So, like Crocs yesterday, it did end up going a little bit lower. Not as low. Like I thought it was going to roll back down right there, but it went a little bit lower and then ended up bouncing. Skechers. So crazy. Nike. It's an all-time high on Nike, isn't it? Yep. UAA. This one's not at an all-time high. Foot Locker. Nope, not really responding. Lulu, so strong. Lulu's through 400. If you got shares of Lulu, could be a great time to sell some calls. As we're into that all-time high. So Twitter, I really don't love how it hit view app and rejected like that with that big upper wick. That's why if we get back up into here, right now I got the order waiting at 70.99, but if it goes into the green, I might just market exit it. Like finger on the trigger, market exit 25%. And that way it's like a stop move, but it's not actually moving the stop because there's nowhere to really move the stop to. All right, mark it out 25%. Let me go. Market exit Twitter 25% here. All right, there's the fill. Let me rebuild my bracket. What was the stop at? 69.97. Okay. I don't think we're going to make it to 73 at this point, but that in there and then figure out. I want to see how this candle closes. Maybe this is a bigger time frame double bottom. Let me get the journal open. Like, where's the day trade journal for this month? 7/23/2021. This is Twitter. 70.85. 69.85. This was a gap in, or no, it was a retest gap. Yeah. Retest gap. We did get filled on a retest. Let me double check where I got filled. Um, 25% of 400 shares. I have a different amount. All right, so we got our 25% off. Go right here. New Twitter target. Really want a close back above the MAs and VWAP. Okay. I think I got it all maintained in my broker. It's really battling 71 right now. Got it in the journal and on the. Oh wow, yeah, really nice bounce. Was that news or something on Roblox? I'm in, so let's go. Let's go, blocks. Daddy needs some Robux. Hector's in pretty deep. Yeah, I'm not in super deep, but I'm in. I didn't get my full pyramid. I didn't get my full pyramid. I got most of it in one account, and then the other one I got two levels. Is Pelosi buying more out of the money calls? Is that the news? Hector basically owns Roblox. What's up, Casey? How are you? Why lower the target? Just because it did not do exactly what I wanted it to do. So I don't think it's going to be the greatest winner of all time. Like if we had bounced right here, like if it was super strong, it wouldn't have done all this. It would have bounced right here and then traded higher. So this is not the strongest. Like this candle is really nice. I like that. Um, yeah, this retrace is not indicative of the of a stock that's like super strong on the bounce. But yeah, you can leave yours higher if you want. It's hitting here. It did go through 72, right? The open 72.20, 72.10. But yeah, so it's like I know what the strongest double bottom will look like, and it's usually not this. It would just bounce off of that and then go. Let's see if I can find one. Um, so do it yesterday. This isn't like the perfect example because this didn't actually come like as low. But see how this did this? It didn't come very low. And then when it broke out, like this retest came into like a really, really high neckline. It didn't even come all the way down in here and then just went. Like that is what a really, really strong double bottom will do. Twitter's getting a lot of volume here. Shouldn't take this candle out. We really shouldn't take this candle out. Stop move on Twitter should not take out that bullish volume candle. 71.17. And since it's the free week, I like locking in gains for you all. So that you're more likely to join. So it's really battling 72, like this round number. Let me see where the point of control. Point of control is not rotated yet, so it's low volume area. Yeah, you were scared right there, huh? You went short. SPY is ridiculous, man. I don't know what else to say. SPY is ridiculous. Oh no. I missed you by 1 penny? There's a big seller at 72 on Twitter. Just watch. Okay, there we go. We're out. All right. Out of Twitter. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Harry Potter, for missing our stop. The Trade Journal 72.25 by 300. 1.07. Kept your target higher. Cool. Yeah, good luck. I mean, this candle is really strong. Um, so yeah, as long as you don't take this candle out, it's gonna remain bullish. I would really want it. This area probably needs to fill out a little bit on a retest on the volume profile. Yeah, we got close. It got like 20 cents from our stop. Thank you, Casey. Oh, Snapchat. Get wrecked. I'll take my stop and go right here now. I'm not cool enough like JS to short it that high, apparently, but yeah, this larger it ended up being more of a larger time frame double bottom. I was just initially playing for this one. Like if we would have done this, and then something like that, like yeah, I would still have my target up here. But since we retraced all the way like this, I just feel like, and then we hit that VWAP, that it's not really as strong. That's all. So that's why it's like my target was pretty much based off of the open of this candle. Don says all out of Twitter. Thank you, Rob, for making your first month's membership payment. Yep, there you go. We lose too. Don't get me. I mean, I've had a really great week this week. But we do lose on trades too. I don't think every trade's going to be a winner, but we do our best. I'm not in this one, but I'm just kind of drawing it. Do I make a living mainly from day trades or a combo of day swing and options? I do all of them. So, but I wouldn't say that I make the most money day trading. Like you're always going to make more money in longer term positions and like position trading, longer term swings, but like cash flow, like bill paying money, stuff like that is like yeah, day and swing trades. Um the month of was it March? I think it was March. Like March was absolutely horrible from like a day trading perspective. It doesn't look like it was that bad, but yeah, March was pretty horrible. So March, like I was really lucky that I made a significant chunk from option sales. So it kind of just depends on the market too. Like some markets are really good for day trading, some markets are really good for swing trading, some markets are super good for option selling. Like when the market was crashing back here, like your long term stuff was getting obliterated, right? Like even if you're buying the dip, it's like you're just getting ran over. So it's like you're not making money longer term until it ends up bouncing. But like option selling in here was absolutely killer. Like the best option sales. Granted, I was also more experienced than like this was like a couple years later. Like I did make some money here, a little bit over here, like option sales. But as far as the most money I've ever made option selling was in this. Because there was like free money super far away. I did get put some things, and then we obviously, rampaged higher, but like option selling paid the bills for sure over here. I do some credit spreads, but I do a lot more naked put selling. But I do use spreads also. I love selling covered calls. It's my absolute favorite thing. Covered calls, as long as you do them properly, just my opinion, is 100% win rate. Like, let's say AMD. If AMD goes like this, I wanted an arrow. And thank you for the kind words, everyone. I appreciate that. If AMD goes like this and I get called away at 100, I own it at 80. So, do I make money? Yeah. If it does this and then does this, like I still make the money from this. I still keep the call money and I still have my shares. So it's like I don't see how a covered call can be unless you like flub up and you sell a covered call like here because you're like, oh, I want 25 cents and then like there and then we bounce and then you get called away for a loss. Like, yeah, that's a lose. But as long as you don't do something like that, it's 100% win. The amount of money that you win is different. Because, like, if I sold this for 53 cents and it expires worthless, that's all I make. Whereas if I get called away on the stock, it's like 2 grand per 100 shares. So it just depends. As long as you do it properly, I think it's 100%. And so many people, like, have shares that they just never do anything with. Yeah, and like I talked about at the Trader Summit, if you want to beating the market is easy. If you want to beat the market, all you have to do is just buy SPY, because that's the market. And if you time one covered call that expires worthless, even if it's $50, you beat the market because you made $50 more than what the market returned. Now you're not like substantially outperforming the market, but you're beating the market. I just don't know if you have over 100 shares in something. I don't know why you wouldn't sell covered calls. You don't have to, like, you're not doing them every day or anything, just when the opportunity arises. Mutual funds are horrible. How do you like that sell at 72.25? Right now it looks good. I mean, this might rocket higher, but right now it looks pretty nice. We didn't quite take that low out, I don't think. Bounced like right off of it. So the stop's in a good spot. All that volume. The point of control probably flipped higher. Nope, not yet. Crazy. What setups do I look for in covered calls? Just stuff that I own, like, let's say Johnson and Johnson is one that I've had for a long time. To me, it feels like a long time. I guess it's not like that long. But I had some Johnson and Johnson. No, that's the weekly. Okay, so somewhere over here. Somewhere over here, and then I had a little bit. And then when it dipped into the weekly 200, I bought a bunch more. And then as it trades higher, this one, I feel like I've traded this one um like a genius practically. So it trades up into, like, here's the lines. It trades into this resistance. I'm gonna sell a covered call here. It comes back down. I buy the covered call back. It trades into the exact same spot. I sell another covered call up here. It trades back down. I buy it to close. Trades back up here. I try to sell one up here. It trades back down. I buy it to close. I tried to sell right here, but there just wasn't quite enough premium. I can actually go look today. August. I want to try to do like 180. I don't want to sell 175 again because I think we're slowly starting to go higher. Like if I want to do August 175, I could do that right now for $1.15. I'd like to sell a 180. There's just not enough premium yet. It needs a bigger day. It needs like a day like this, like right here. 1% would be nice. I'm not gonna get 1% on a J&J. So like if I can even get around $1, then I think $100. Oh, that sounds cool to me. I'll try and do that. Yeah, if you can get 1% a month, then that's cool. If Apple gaps up on earnings, oh yeah, I mean, you could you could already be in one on Apple, like even over earnings from like probably here or here this run. So the way I approach it, it's like I really prefer not to get called away, so I try to sell it at a point where I'm like, shoot, if it goes there, cool. Take the shares. Oh man, I should have set that up too. Skechers. Do they still have those shoes where you like rock back and forth? But yeah, usually longer term, Chris, I pyramid in and then sell calls. Intel's in trouble, team. I think Intel's just. I get it. They're an American chip manufacturer. Like I want them to win, but they're in trouble with the new Apple Silicon and the AMD chips. They're gonna have a tough time if they don't get it together. If a crash happens like COVID, you would just wait for the recovery. Pretty much, yeah. I would use more puts and put spreads. Yeah, like calls aren't the greatest downside hedge, like because literally you just max your downside hedge is only what you sell the call for. So if it's like $50, but the stock drops 20%, they don't really give you that much downside hedge. Glad you collared Intel. Me too. Again, I would like them to do well. I don't see anything happening from them. We'll have a 2 nanometer coming out in 2025. It's so far away, man. That's 3 years, almost 4. It doesn't look good. Like this gap is brute magoot. Still hasn't filled. And then like if you fib this, we literally retraced. Oh, we went a little bit higher than the 618, but we're breaking down again. If you fib that, it didn't even make it to the 382. Just this little button here, and go to fib retrace. I mean, the only thing you could say is like, well, we're at the 618 from this, but I don't know. And all of my friends that like build new PCs or buying new PCs, they're not buying PCs with Intel chips or building PCs with Intel chips. They're using AMD. I have an AMD in mine. I got the MacBook M1 that has the Apple Silicon in it, and it's fantastic for what it is. It's obviously not my primary computer, but for a laptop, the fans never turned on. Even I was editing one of the YouTube videos for RLT X, rendering it. It was like a 7-8 minute render, and the fan still never turned on. Nvidia doesn't look bullish today. Is the fan broken? No, it's never had to turn on. It hasn't gotten warm, and the battery life is so good. So good. Yeah, or just I'd buy TSM. Yeah, there you go. Longer term, this one's been pretty nice. That's definitely in a distribution phase. I think a longer term distribution, I guess you could kind of argue if this pullback's public participation accumulation, maybe. I hope Nvidia comes down to 150. I don't think it's going to, but yeah, I sold a put down there. Was Jinko Solar swing trade activated? I don't know. Go look. I didn't have that one set up. It was live. What was the entry 5508? Yeah, it looks like it was filled today. Yep. Is there bad news in the Chinese market? Yeah. Yeah, Lehman, it's not great. I wouldn't own any Chinese stock right now. They basically came out and said that like these companies, which some people were saying were fake already, um, might need to operate as non-profits. Well, it's like you got a U.S. listed stock and now it's like it needs to operate as a nonprofit. Huh? Got to run. Got some work calls. Yeah, thanks, Casey. Have a good rest of your weekend. If anyone wants a great travel agent, call Casey Darden. She'll hook you up. She'll even fly on the little tiny plane with you, right, Justin? Hold your hand on that little tiny plane with Captain Scotty. I don't know if that's who you had, but that's who I had on the way back. Never been on a plane that small in my life. And we took off with 25% fuel. So yeah, EDU, TAL, GoTo I think is definitely a scam. But like Bob is getting punished. Every Chinese stock is getting punished. I wouldn't own any of these. There's Momo. This is the Chinese dating. Bazoon. I used to play Bazoon like a lot, but after all the stuff that's going, it's just there's so many other stocks to play. Why be in these? Look at the K Web. This just looks like on a weekly. Whoops, wrong annotation. What does this look like? It's a giant middle finger pattern. Yeah, exactly, Rob. Big middle finger to the owners of these stocks. The last middle finger pattern, or like the very first one that I was like, this looks a little worrisome. It was Boeing over here. Yeah, that is not what you want to see. That is the opposite of bullish. Tractor Supply Co. Oh wow, that was a good hammer. Ooh, a hammer off the 100. Yeah, this is good. So I like this little pennant pattern right there. An, almost an inside candle, probably a breakout right there. Yeah, that looks nice. It's in a bullish trend. It is not doing a middle finger pattern. Tractors are COVID proof. I cannot believe the cues in the spy. Look at this on the spy. Snapchat. Oh man. Darn. Twitter. Well, your stop's in a good spot. If your stop's right here, you might be able to creep it up like a couple pennies. And then you really want to see it back through 72. For whatever reason, when I was watching the level twos, there was a big seller right here. This pop happens when it's like, I don't know if it filled or they just pulled their orders. I couldn't really tell. But I was watching the level twos as it was chopping around 72, and the asks just kept refilling. And then all of a sudden you got this pop. It was like they kind of pulled it, and they might put those back on. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, see, they just flashed. Let's see if I can show you. See, these are lots. See how it like flashes a bunch of lots on that ask right there? Sometimes that can, so these are in hundreds. So that's like 400, 600 on the different exchanges. And sometimes these are icebergs, so it might look like it's only 13 lots. Okay, I just jumped through it. This is Thinkorswim. You can get level 2s on IB also. You don't like have to have them, but yeah, you could let's say I could have an order there for 100,000 shares, but I could only show it as like 500 shares. Like I can do an iceberg order. You can't do it on TOS, but on Thinker or on IB, like I could literally come in here and I could go advance and I can create an iceberg for my own orders if I wanted to. So yeah, there's all kinds of funky stuff that can go on. But that looks good that we're back through there. So hopefully, if you're still in, hopefully it goes higher. I won't be upset if it goes higher. I'm already out. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Like if here's the ocean and people see like, oh look, there's just a little tiny iceberg, but below the water, it's like this huge thing. So you can look on the level twos. It looks like it's only 100 shares, but it's really like 100,000, and then it just keeps refilling the same 100 over and over and over again. I'm not saying that's what it was on Twitter. It's just you try to look for something like that. Man, spy, ridiculous, ridiculous. Robert Thompson posted in Slack, Stonk's number go up. That's what's happening today. Stonks only go up. Edward says Roku's lightsabering. It is. Yeah, if it gets into like 460, that's when I would probably throw that collar on. There you go. There's a little higher move on Twitter. Again, trading for me, it's like taking a taxi. Like once I get to my destination and I'm out, like I don't care where the taxi goes after that. I already took my ride. Would I consider snap shorting it? You could short it there. If you were doing that, I would probably do it like this. The problem is now we're starting to get to the point. Where's the 10 on the 15? The 10 on the 15 is like starting to creep higher. And this is where like your super patient bullish traders are going to be. And the market's actually trading relatively bullish still. So I don't know. But yeah, you could try it for sure. If you're going to short, like that's probably the place to do it again. I would have liked there to be more volume. So like the VWAP was right down here. So I could hit the VWAP again. Because I don't think I would want to see it retrace like all the way up into VWAP. Yeah, later, Ben. Skechers at the magical 55, 55. AXP, I'm glad I didn't take that long. That one. Intel. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Actually, I don't think we need it to go any longer. It's been going 2 hours.